out there. It's a wonderful month of March.
And of course, you don't work solo. Well, it's a fantastic Monday. Like you said, we are we're already in the new month of March. So happy new month to you all. I am Adetoke Olale. Like, Mondays for me is always this, I don't know, I always have this good vibe.
This is a good vibe,
you know,
absolutely.
and it always happens for one reason. For me, is because you have to have a fantastic night's rest. When you don't have that night rest, that's when you all be all bluey on a Monday morning. Everything seems to be irritating you. You know, you don't feel like doing anything. You just want to be yawning. You just want to have your bed to yourself early on a Monday morning. So our advice, if you want to have a fantastic Monday morning, to keep you in that good vibe, ensure that you have a good night rest. It's important. So we welcome you on board once again for the Monday edition of the Mid-Morning Show. Today is going to be an interesting one. Of course, topical issues is what we discuss on the show to inform you, to educate you, and to let you be aware of things around you. And today is an interesting one.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's about real life. It's about real health. It's about real solution. And that's why we are on the show today. And today we're going to be talking about a very unique topic. It's a topic that many people, despite the fact that there's been this awareness on this issue, we still have a whole lot to talk about. And some people are still misinformed, disinformed, and uninformed.
And the funny thing about it is people are, there are some misconceptions about the topic we are.
I know you've been wondering.
And I'm sure, yes, they are definitely wondering.
Of course, the topic is on cancer.
Yes.
Are we really free of cancer? Now, if you look at the world, last month was the National Cancer Prevention Month. A whole lot of awareness was going up back and forth. Now the month of March is recognized as the Cancer Awareness Month for colon cancer, kidney cancer, and other cancers that we need to be aware of. Now, my question is, we have a whole lot of this awareness going on around us. Why should it still be a very big issue that people still talk about, and people are still saying a whole lot of misconceptions about it? And like our topic for today says, who is free from cancer? Is it the person who has not been diagnosed before, or someone who is a survivor, or is it someone who has a healthy life?
And some will actually say, that cancer is, let me quote it in Yoruba, they'll say,
you know, they have a whole lot of myths around it. So my own, like the question we're asking today, who is free from cancer? Like I said, is it the one who has been diagnosed before, someone who has not been diagnosed before, a survivor, or someone who has a healthy lifestyle, or someone who just feels, I'm okay, I can't have cancer? So these are the questions we will be talking about on the show today. And we also have our guests who are standing by, ready to give it to us HOT. So, but before we go further into the show, we have a feature, and that's talking on cervical cancer. So stick with us. The Mid-Morning Show continues.
January is a month of reflection, awareness, and action. Across the world, and here in Nigeria, it is dedicated to shining a light on cervical cancer, a disease that is preventable, detectable, and treatable when caught early, yet continues to claim the lives of thousands of women every year. Cervical cancer does not begin suddenly. It develops slowly, often without symptoms, silently affecting the cervix, the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina. For many women, by the time symptoms appear, the disease may already be advanced. This is why awareness, screening, and prevention are not optional, they are life-saving. In Nigeria, cervical cancer is one of the leading causes of cancer-related deaths among women. Every statistic represents a mother, a daughter, a sister, a wife, women whose lives matter and whose deaths are largely preventable. At the heart of cervical cancer is a virus known as the human papillomavirus, or HPV. HPV is extremely common. Most sexually active people, both men and women, will be exposed to it at some point in their lives. In most cases, the body clears the virus on its own. But in some women, certain high-risk strains of HPV persist, leading over time to abnormal cell changes and, eventually, cervical cancer. This is why this year's awareness focus emphasizes prevention first. Prevention begins with education, understanding how cervical cancer develops and knowing that it is not caused by witchcraft, spiritual attack, promiscuity, or poor hygiene. These are myths that have caused fear, stigma, and silence for far too long. Another powerful tool for prevention is the HPV vaccine. Yet, despite its proven effectiveness, the HPV vaccine remains surrounded by misinformation. Some people believe the HPV vaccine causes infertility. This is not true. Extensive global research involving millions of girls and women has shown that the HPV vaccine does not affect fertility. In fact, by preventing cervical cancer, the vaccine protects a woman's ability to live a healthy, productive life. Others fear the vaccine encourages sexual promiscuity. This is also false. The HPV vaccine is a cancer prevention vaccine, not a license for sexual activity. Giving a child the vaccine does not influence moral behavior, it protects health. Just as we vaccinate children against polio or measles, vaccinating against HPV is an act of care, not consent. There are also concerns that the vaccine is unsafe or experimental. Again, this is incorrect. The HPV vaccine has been in use for over a decade, approved by the World Health Organization and health authorities worldwide. It has saved lives across continents. Countries that have achieved high vaccination coverage are already seeing dramatic reductions in cervical cancer cases. In Nigeria, increasing access to and acceptance of the HPV vaccine is a critical step toward eliminating cervical cancer in future generations. But prevention does not end with vaccination. Screening is equally important. Regular cervical screening through pap smears, HPV testing, or visual inspection methods can detect abnormal changes long before they become cancerous. Early detection allows for simple treatment and full recovery. Unfortunately, many Nigerian women do not get screened due to fear, cost, lack of awareness, or cultural barriers. Some believe screening is only necessary when symptoms appear. Others fear a positive result means death. The truth is this: early detection saves lives. Cervical cancer, when found early, is one of the most treatable cancers. Women who are screened regularly are far more likely to survive and thrive. Symptoms such as abnormal vaginal bleeding, bleeding after intercourse, pelvic pain, or unusual discharge should never be ignored. These are not signs of weakness or shame, they are signals to seek medical care. Another harmful myth is that cervical cancer affects only older women. In reality, women of different ages are at risk, especially those who have never been screened. Prevention and screening should not be delayed. This January, awareness is also about breaking silence. We must talk openly about women's health, in homes, schools, religious spaces, markets, and health facilities. Husbands, fathers, community leaders, and policymakers all have a role to play. Cervical cancer is not just a women's issue, it is a family and public health issue. Healthcare workers must continue to provide accurate information with compassion. Communities must support women instead of blaming them. Government and institutions must strengthen access to vaccination, screening, and treatment services, especially in rural and underserved areas. The global vision is clear. Cervical cancer can be eliminated. Elimination does not mean it disappears overnight. It means reducing cases to the point where no woman dies from a disease that can be prevented. For Nigeria, this vision is achievable if awareness leads to action. Action means vaccinating eligible girls. Action means encouraging women to get screened. Action means rejecting myths and embracing science. Action means speaking up, not staying silent. This January, let us remember that cervical cancer is not a death sentence. It is a preventable disease.
Was a feature on cervical cancer. You know, sometimes we need to be aware of these things around us so that we don't just catch us. There's this shock that comes when new information comes. But with that feature, we are able to know that cervical cancer is real and it's not a death sentence. Early detection is very important. And we'll be talking about that more because we have a whole lot to unpack today. Of course, when we talk about the topic, who is free from cancer? Is it the person who has been diagnosed before or someone who has not been diagnosed before? Is it a survivor? Is it someone who is, living a healthy lifestyle and claims that, yes, all is well? So these are questions that we're going to be asking ourselves. Like Dolapo said, there's a whole lot of misconceptions going out there. Some people say it's a family inherited disease.
Yeah.
Some people say cancer is, once you have cancer, it's the end of the world. These are things that we will be talking about on the show today. And we have two fantastic guests who will be with us on the show today. And we have Dr. Daluchukwu Obi, Senior Registrar, Radiation and Clinical Oncology Department, UCH, Ibadan. And we also have Dr. Ekundayo Samuel, Executive Director, Dove Haven Foundation. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you for coming.
And of course, today's conversation is sponsored by Project Cares. We can see it there, campus-based cancer awareness and rapid early screening in Oyo State. So it's going to be a fantastic ride today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, we talked about who is free from cancer. And what does that really mean medically, based on your experience?
Okay, well, when we talk about who is free from cancer, there is no one that is 100% free from cancer, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because, cancer has to do with cells in the body multiplying without any check, So imagine you're in a traffic jam and you have some cars that are not ready to obey the laws. They just want to start driving everywhere. So cancer is like that. And we all have, the body is made up of cells. So, but we are all exposed to the risk factors of cancer. So is anyone totally free from cancer? No. No one is totally free from cancer. However, one can try to avoid some risk factors. That's, we talk about modifiable risk factors, and then try to, of course, go for screening and then regular checks. And then, really.
Okay, before we go into the risk and factors now, because there's been this misconception on cancer, particularly now. They say, or people say out there, that cancer majorly is for the rich. What's your own insight on that, basically?
Okay, let me just start from where she stops. She mentioned that we are all made up of cells.
Yes.
So whoever has cells in his or her body is prone to having cancer. Because cancer originates from cell. So where there is no cell, then we won't talk about cancer. So, yeah, the issue of cancer, like she also said that nobody's free. Yeah. And because cancer does not discriminate. So there is no status, okay, because I'm rich, then I shouldn't have cancer. No. However, we have seen that from experience and also from research that there are some cancer types that are also linked to some level of maybe your race.
Race in question now.
Yeah, so it could be from maybe it's people, we have seen that people in Africa majorly does not come down with some form of cancer is rare.
Okay.
If you also leave this country to outside the country, maybe to Europe or America, you have some cancer that also have high level of prevalence in those areas. So, however, cancer actually is non-discriminatory. So anybody can have it. Okay. And that's why we are here to talk about it, because the rich can have it, the poor can have it, the single mother can have it, the married can have it, the unmarried can have it. So that's why it is very important that we talk about it, because unlike other forms of diseases, cancer is not a single disease. Cancer is a group of diseases, okay, that affect humans. For example, you can talk about diabetes, it's a single disease. You can talk about hypertension, it's a single disease. You can talk about malaria, but cancer can affect every cell in the body, and that's why it is very dangerous. And that's why we're here to talk about cancer today.
Okay, so because you made mention of races earlier. Now, are there some specific race, or how would I put it, are there some specific groups that tend to have certain cancer? You know, because I'm sure there are various types of cancer.
Yes. So
the cervical, so are there some specific groups or races that actually they are prone to some cancer?
The issue of cancer, like she mentioned something about the risk factors. There are modifiable risk factors and there are non-modifiable risk factors. For example, age is a non-modifiable. Okay, as you grow older, your risk actually increases.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's non-modifiable because everybody is growing. We are all growing. So also, around 10 to 5% to 10% of all cancers have some genetic predisposition. So therefore, if you have a particular kind of gene, okay, in your body, you are more likely to be prone to this form of cancer. So that's why they say that if someone has cancer in your lineage, then you must take precaution because you have that chance of also coming down with that form of cancer. So like I told you that because of, for example, people who actually live outside the country that are white, okay, they don't have some pigments on their skin. So because those pigments are not there, like what we have in Africa, they are prone to some, because they are exposed to rays, and so that can actually cause some problem. And before you know, they come down with that form of cancer. Because we in Africa, you see, we are dark and everything because we have some pigments on our body, so we might not have high risk, okay, of coming down with those form of cancer. So that's why race also is a factor that we looked at.
Okay, I want to come to Dr. Dalu Chukwu now. We talked about nobody is free, and it's bound with race and all that. Let's now come down to Nigeria. How aware is Nigeria when it comes to cancer prevention or detection? Because Nigeria itself, we've seen people have the breast cancer, the prostate, but we've had series of awareness, and we still wonder why some people are still unaware. So how aware is Nigeria when it comes to prevention and detection of cancer?
Okay, thank you for that. I will say that awareness in our community is really poor. And that's why sometimes it may seem that the poor people are more affected than the rich. Not because they have different cells from the rich, no, but because of the awareness. The rich may be exposed to, the awareness. They may afford the screening, but the poor people may not even know what cancer is exactly till they start having the late symptoms, and that's why presentation in our community is still very late. Many people present very late. Not because some of these cancers can't be cured or can't be taken care of if presented early, but because they didn't hear of it at an earlier age, they treat other things except cancer, except the real thing, until the late stage, they now seek further care. So I guess that's the importance of this opportunity, so that people out there get to know what exactly is cancer, what are the symptoms they should look out for, the things they should do as a form of screening in order to prevent this cancer or to catch it early. Unfortunately, there are some that you may not be able to, outrightly prevent, but through screening, you can be able to catch it early. For example, cervical cancer in our community, or in developing worlds, it's a cancer that is dealing with our women. But in developed countries, cervical cancer is almost not heard of because they've been able to screen their population, their women, so they're able to detect the precancerous lesions and take care of them, at that early stage. But in our own situation, women, first of all, they may not have heard of cervical cancer. They start having the symptoms. The commonest one is bleeding per vagina. They start bleeding, and then they may treat other things. It's infection. It's that other thing. But there is cancer.
So can we now say self-treatment is a major obstacle when it comes to the awareness of cancer?
No, I won't say self-treatment. I'll say lack of information, lack of knowledge. A woman that is bleeding, like I said, that's the commonest presentation of cervical cancer. A woman that is bleeding, especially if this lady is maybe menopausal, one shouldn't start thinking of something else. Okay, maybe it's an infection. It's something. It's the food I'm eating. It's the drink. No, come to the hospital. Let the clinician check and take a biopsy and know what exactly is happening to that cervix. Why are you bleeding when you are not supposed to be bleeding? So it's that awareness. If we're able to reach more women, if we're able to get to the communities to let them know the symptoms they are to look out for, it's going to help, because once they start having these symptoms, and the first place they are coming to is the hospital and not not self-medication or to the chemist. I mean, so it's important. Awareness is very key. Wow. Awareness.
Okay. Okay. So you, because you made mention of some symptoms. Now, coming to you, sir, are there other symptoms that cancer, that showcases cancer, that people might not really feel, okay, maybe this is a symptom that I don't know about, apart from bleeding and all sorts?
Yeah. Like I also mentioned earlier, that everywhere there's a cell, okay?
Yeah, you said so.
Then that area can, or is prone to having cancer.
Yes, absolutely.
Also. So some of these symptoms, they are also organ specific, tissue specific.
Okay.
So, but the commonest thing that you see, basically, with almost all form of cancer, is prevention with lumps. So when there are swellings, so because these cancer cells, they divide uncontrollably, and they begin to pile up, and they form what called lumps. So the moment anyone sees any part of the body that is a bit raised than
the other,
maybe you woke up and you saw that it's swollen, and you checked again, it's swollen, and maybe tomorrow it's just getting bigger. So you don't wait, you need to go and present. So when there's a lump, okay, any part of the body, or you discover that maybe you have a cough that is not going, it's not resolving, you treated the cough, it came down and it was okay. So then you might be thinking maybe there's something, like I said earlier, it's actually organ specific, or you discover that you just begin to actually started stooling or having changes in your bowels. So maybe you discover that maybe you keep on stooling and it's not stopping, and or you didn't even stool at all for a long period of time. So don't wait. It's not cancerous, but go and present to know what actually is the major cause of where. So, like I said,
they seem, when you ask them cancer, they say yes, so they are fully aware in their mind. Now, so we are in Nigeria now.
Yeah.
So what are those, for the sake of the people who claim they're informed and they are not informed? So this cancer, in just a very, in their own terms, that they can understand what cancer is, and the major cancer that is common in Nigeria.
Yes, this NGO, Dove Haven Foundation, is one of the type in the country. Our major focus is on the rural communities and those who are underserved. Okay? Because we have discovered that, let me just give you a background because maybe it will help you.
Okay.
Nigeria is almost divided into two various population, maybe two. We have people who live in the urban settings, those who live in the rural settings, and they are almost 50-50. However, it will shock you that this country, we have maybe around 80, it is because some of them actually have jackpot now, okay? But let's say we have around 80. Let me just use the word 80 as a benchmark of radiation and clinical oncologists. She is one of them. People who actually treat cancer patients in this country. We have around 80 in this country.
Oh, wow.
Those 80, it will shock you, they are located in 18 states in this country.
Wow.
That means 19 states
are still lucky.
Does not have a cancer expert.
Wow.
Okay? Those 18 states, you will find them again clustered in maybe in 4 centers in the country.
Wow.
So UI is actually, let me say UCH now is also one of them. We have a number of them in UCH, a number of them in Luth, a number of them also in National Hospital. Maybe few are scattered around those other 18 states.
Wow.
So there is inequality. There's uneven spread. So this NGO, actually, we discovered that because of this, we have to fill the gap, help those who don't have access to information. So we took the NGO to Kogi State. Kogi State is one of those 19 states. Interestingly, that state is the only state in this country that is bordered by 10 different states. So we felt the best way to make impact is to go to such area, and that's why we took the NGO there. So this NGO is like the major NGO now, serving everybody in Kogi State with information on cancer. So bounded by, different other states. So it's only FCT that bounds these states that we can say that they have, at least to some extent, good cancer care facilities. So people in this country, people who are underserved, and that's why we're raising awareness. So it's not now we're in Ibadan now, because I was telling Ad earlier that you would think that because usage is in Ibadan, people should be aware of cancer. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's not the case. So we are currently intervening in 5 institutions in Oyo State because we have discovered that the younger population are now coming down with cancer. Evidence-based researches. And that's why we are focusing on those who are actually in tertiary institution. So when we catch them young at that point, give them information, then it will help a lot. And that's why ACT Foundation is sponsoring these projects. Okay?
Yeah.
So that we can actually reach out to people who don't have access to information. We have screened over 500 people now at the moment, free.
Wow.
But I would like to go to doctor. Based on your experience with the patients, what are those common ones that seem to be so popular? Let me use that word.
Okay, so
Cancer, yes.
Okay, so globally, in the world, lung cancer tops the list. It's number
Lung
1.
cancer.
Yes, lung cancer, and it's a
Lung
cancer that has been linked to smoking. However, now coming down, since your question was specifically to our
Nigeria.
community,
Yeah.
you know, what my experience and all. So in women, the first cancer that is still dealing with our women is breast cancer, then followed by cervical cancer. Then there is colorectal cancer, you know. But the first 2 are breast and cervix for women. Then coming to men, prostate is number 1, you know, and unfortunately, the prostate cancer and breast cancer are cancers that one can screen for, you know.
Okay.
Yes. So why are these cancers still dealing with our people? You understand that awareness is still very poor. You know, many people, how many men today know of PSA, which is the screening tool, at least the common one can do in checking whether, checking for prostate cancer, or checking whether there is possibility of maybe prostate cancer being there, is when you check the PSA and it's high. From 50 years, it's expected that every man should go for PSA screening. So if the PSA is high, then come to the hospital. There may be other things that may cause an increase in PSA, but let the physician now be the one to further examine and say, okay, no, this PSA increase is not due to prostate cancer, is from something else.
Okay.
You know.
Okay,
Sorry,
we have
bro,
to
you
go
have to
to
go.
short,
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to go on this short commercial break. Please stay with us.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
So disinfect your kitchen every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No breeze. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
still the mid-morning show on BCOS television, and we are on the topic, who is free from cancer? And we have our guests, Dr. Dalu Chuku Obi and Dr. Ekundayo Samuel. All right, let's talk about, still on the general understanding now, how can we say that complete health lifestyle or completely healthy lifestyle can guarantee freedom from cancer? Is it possible?
Yeah, because cancer actually has multifactorial risk factors.
Okay.
Not just one risk. Okay? So, and I told you that different cells in the body can actually be prone to cancer. And that is why the best thing to do is to present regularly, is to do regular checkup. Because if you say that you are not smoking, okay, and you live where people smoke, okay, that's access alone can be a problem. So in our culture, where we also know that polygamy is something of what we've seen a lot, and we also know that multiple sexual partner is also a risk to cancer of the cervix. And that is also another concern. So, and also now that we are changing our lifestyle from people making their food themselves from what they know to eating food from what they don't know that somebody has prepared for them.
Because we have them order food.
so now that lifestyle change is a major factor. Okay, and that is why the risk for cancer has been increasing from diet. So what we have seen from research, like I was telling you that the kind of cancer you find in Europe, in America, in Asia, and also in Africa, they are different in prevalences. And it's because of different lifestyles. So we have seen in regions where they live majorly on fruits and vegetables, okay, that has reduced their cancer risk. And that's why WHO actually has recommended that, if people are living on on fruits, on vegetables, and they're having reduced cancer risk, then why don't we also put that as a lifestyle? Okay? And we have seen that people that are living on junks, okay, they are prone to some. So, and that's why we need to balance that. So, whatever is discovered from the scientific perspective, we informed the public on what to do. So, they have also seen that women that breastfeed their babies more than 6 months, they have reduced risk.
Wow.
So, that was why there was another recommendation that people should breastfeed at least 6 months.
So there's a whole lot of factors.
So yes, so there's a lot of factors, and the one that I have found very interesting that we don't do is physical activities. So they have discovered that if you exercise at least 30 minutes every day, it brings down your cancer risk to a very barest minimum.
Wow.
But we don't exercise because you wake up in the morning, you rush out,
get to work.
Because the hustle is real.
Yeah. So, however, because I have found out that people tell me that, doctor, my work actually is very demands me. Okay, I'll be sweating, and I said no. Don't confuse exercise with labor.
Okay.
Labor is different from exercise, because when you exercise, you will reduce your stress level to the barest minimum. But when you are going through labor, you will increase stress. So we have also seen that stress is also linked to most of these diseases that we have. So people that exercise, they have reduced stress, okay, and it reduces their risk. People that do hard labor, thinking that they are exercising, no, it increases their, because you'll be tired when you get back home. You'll be tired, and all those things can. So that's why we need to balance all, because cancer is actually, it's not just one thing that we'll do and say we are free. So you have to do a whole lot of things.
I'd like to talk come to Dr. Dr. Kudai has talked about, the healthy lifestyle. We should not have stress, and a lot of factors. But based on your experience, why is it that as much as we have this information out there, the awareness out there, some people don't go for screening? You know, you go to a place and you tell people, I've seen an experience where we tell people that, please go for screening for a particular test, and you will not see people come, even if it is free. So what's the reason why, when it comes to cancer, screening for cancer, some people just don't want to do it?
I think many people think that cancer is not for them. Maybe they are the ones that think that they are free from cancer. You know, so you know, I have had many people tell me that it's cancer can't happen to them, or they can't have cancer. Some others have said, why look for something that is not visible? Like, what if you find something?
And you don't want.
Yeah, so it's like, I would prefer to be in denial. Like, let me just, I would prefer to be ignorant. I don't want to know, because if I find out, it's going to increase I'm going to be afraid. It's going to make me disturbed. It's going to worry me. So I'd rather wait. If eventually it comes, I know it has come, but these things are not, they are not the right thing to do. It's good to go and check. Your checking does not mean that if it's there, it's a death sentence. You may find it early and it will be taken care of. You know, so I think when people that don't go for screening, despite knowing that there is, knowing that there is screening, I would say the reason is because of fear of the results. For some people, is cost, which relatively is really not a problem, because to treat cancer, it's more expensive to treat cancer than to screen for cancer. So when you break it down for them, you're like, it may be expensive, you know, maybe to go for the PSA, for example. But if you have prostate cancer from lack of screening, you're going to spend a lot of money. So why not screen, you know, than wait for it to come? So I think these are all multiple reasons why those that know about screening don't go for the screening. Some also talk about time. They don't have time for screening, but it's not a problem, I tell them, because if you are diagnosed of cancer, you will make out time to treat that cancer.
So why not just make out the time now?
To
But we have some
screen.
people that are so stubborn that they'll tell you that I live a healthy life. They come for the screening, and alas, they have cancer. How do you? Because you know, there's a way they get angry. They might tell you that it's fake. So how do you cope with such a patient, based on your experience?
Well, at that initial stage, they are demoralized. They are not happy because of their diagnosis, despite the healthy lifestyle they have lived. But from what Dr. Punda was saying about risk factors being multifactorial, it's possible that someone has lived a healthy lifestyle, but then there are the non-modifiable factors that may be there. For example, age. Can you change your age? I mean, if we are all alive, we'll be aging as we grow, you know. And then family history. You can't change your family history, or genetics. You can't change your genetics. So in spite of living a healthy lifestyle, these are the ones that can't be changed. You may be at risk, maybe that you inherited, or maybe there is a genetic mutation that eventually will develop into a cancerous cell. You can't change it. So despite your healthy lifestyle, which should be able to reduce maybe the chances of having it, but because of the genetic factor that is there, it may still lead to one developing cancer. So it's just to have that conversation with them is usually an uninteresting conversation to have, I must tell you. But when you listen to them, hear them, whether they are annoyed or not, you know, you should, as a doctor, they should see that you are going to be in this journey with them. You know, you are there to listen and then offer hope and offer them the different options for treatment. So most of them are not usually very aggressive. I mean, at the beginning, they're not happy with the diagnosis despite the healthy lifestyle. But when they know that there are options out there to help their situation, they are at peace, more or less.
Okay, so Dr. Ekundayo, now, in your own, from your own experience now, why do you think people live in denial of, cancer?
Well, Dr. Ubia said a lot about that. We, from experience now, we have also discovered that the outcome is a bit scary to them.
Mm.
And we were in Kogi State in one community to carry out free screening and education program. And people there didn't want to come out. Someone said, if eventually I got to know that I'm having cancer, who will pay for the
That's what's on their mind.
Yes, so she was very, very, very clear about
Yes.
it. And that is the serious thing that we're having. And that's why NGO like us, we've been in touch with the government through different fora
Okay.
to advocate for, because health actually is the responsibility of the government. Okay, that's what we know, is a right. So health is a right.
Mm.
And what we are doing is to support what the government should be doing. Okay? So, but you don't wait for the government to take care of yourself. Okay? But we know that health is a right. And that's why we are advocating to the government to please make support system available. And I knew that we have advocated a lot because we knew that cervical cancer, for example, is the only cancer, quote and unquote, that we know the cause. Every other cancer, we know the risk.
But
Okay.
we know the cost,
The cost.
of cervical
We
cancer.
know the cause because it has been implicated, or it has been researched, and we found out that a virus,
Oh, yeah.
okay, is the major cause of
Cervical
cervical cancer. So in more than 90% of all cancers of the cervix, they have found out that this virus is there. Therefore, it's preventable. So if you can prevent this virus, then you can prevent cervical cancer. Now, there's now what we call vaccine against this virus.
Against, yes.
So I must thank the government because at this point in time, the government actually vaccinated more than 14 million girls, as I'm speaking with you in this country.
Beautiful.
And that's a bold step.
Yes, so that is a good step, and it was based on advocacy. Okay? So if government can put up this thing, outside the country is statutory. The moment you approach age 8 or age 9, you receive the vaccine as a girl and as a boy. In Nigeria now, we are currently focusing on the girls.
Because I was about to ask that. I was about to ask that
So,
the girls
and,
alone.
Yeah, so and that is a major issue. So over there, both boy and girl, they have access to this vaccine. And if you take this vaccine, it brings down your chance of having cancer of the cervix. So she was saying that you hardly mentioned that because they already have a system that works. So if our government can put in place a girl child of 9 to 15, some now, okay, Nigeria will say 9 to 14, which is still okay. So at that age, so every girl child between 9 and 14, I know Oyo State also is benefiting from it now because the first 18 state is benefiting.
Okay.
They will still start the other phase of other states.
Wow.
So, but as of today, I know that they have vaccinated almost 14 million girls.
Okay,
Girl child.
that vaccination you are talking about, sir. Because I've heard cases whereby, or let me say, is it even possible for children to develop cancer?
No, you know that cancer, there is a cancer that is also found in children. Okay, so, but for cervical cancer, okay, is a preventive measure.
For cervical
Because
cancer?
cancer is not an acute disease. It's a chronic disease that develops over time. So some people have used all their life to smoke, okay? And they said that when I've stopped smoking, okay? And 10 years after, they come down with lung cancer. So, but recently, or at the moment, they are no more smoking, but they have lived a very rough life that has actually exposed them to those carcinogens in the smoke. So that's why if you do anything now, you might not have cancer because of what you are doing now. So, but since it's a long-term disease, in the next future,
it can start at any point.
To start.
But doctor was talking about how you have to face a patient and tell the patient that yes, you have cancer. So, for your organization and for Project Cares, do they have a means of helping them emotionally to understand that they have cancer and they can survive it if they go through the necessary measures?
Yes, Dove Baby Foundation is non-political. And that's why I said I'm speaking now, I'm talking about the government because I don't have any affiliation with the government, to people that matters on how to support. So we provide awareness, which is the most important thing, because WHO has said that the most important way to prevent cancer is education. And that is why we are here today. When we educate people about what they should know, then I think it saves a lot. So we educate people. We also support cancer patients one way or the other. So we have websites. You can check us online, Dove Baby Foundation. So we have Facebook where people can actually have access to us if you have any issues. So we have a lot of people also on the team. We have different professionals also on our team that provide different support services to people as they come. So you could see that there is Patella Care Foundation. They are also one of our partners. They also provide some social support, okay, to people who are having some form of cancer. So there's a lot to help those people that are already there. So they can access us via our website or via our emails.
I like that aspect of accessibility.
Yeah.
Then, but I would like to come to you, doctor. We've talked about, of course, they will have emotions, they will have a whole lot. So what are those, the treatments, the ways in which they can survive the cancer with early detection and prevention? So what are those means of treatment when it comes to cancer?
Okay, so treating cancer it's multidisciplinary, meaning it's not just one specialist.
Wow.
I'm in clinical and radiation oncology, but when a diagnosis of cancer is made, you have more specialists that are needed. You have the surgeon may be needed, the oncology nurses may be needed, the medical oncologist is needed, and all a whole lot, but the treatments yes,
we have a short
okay, all right,
so we'll be back
okay, all right.
Still the mid-morning show.
Decision by the multidisciplinary team. So a patient may just require surgery, for example, to take care of that particular cancer. A patient may require both surgery and chemotherapy. A patient may require the 3: surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or the 4: surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, targeted therapy. So it really depends, and that's why cancer diagnosis is very individualized. It's not just a blanket treatment,
Well, to Dr. Ekundayo, she was talking about treating of cancer. Now, we have some people who have taken the bold step to get screened and to actually find out that, yes, they have cancer and they are survivors. So can we now say that the survivor is totally free from cancer?
Well, nobody can say that, and because in as much as they are still alive and they still have cells in their body.
Wow. So the survivor is not free.
The survivor is not free because we actually looked at a case last week. Someone has breast cancer in the past, and now the person is now coming down with cancer of the colon.
Oh.
So like I said, you must have treated the cells in the breast, okay? But there are other cells also that if you are not doing what you're supposed to do, living a healthy lifestyle, following through doing normal screening, you can still come down with that. So nobody is free. So that's why we said people should go for regular screening. It's important because when you go for regular screening and you catch it early, then it can be cured. Again, I can tell you, cancer can be cured 100%.
So for the survival,
100%.
Yes.
the person still has to go for screening.
Yeah, because you are still alive and you still have cells in your. So everybody should be doing for screening. So for the male, depending on what they found out, maybe from your PSA, they can still come every 3 years.
Okay.
So maybe for people that we screen now for cancer of the cervix, we say come in the next 3 years, go and do screening again 3 years. So go and do another 3 years. So some people, because of what you actually saw from the result, and say come again next year. So that we can track it on time, and when it's seen early, then it can be treated. So, but everybody, including everybody that is here now, we should be going for a regular screening.
Okay, so how would you say that cancer treatment has really evolved over the years, or in the last decade? Let's say in the last decade. How would you say it has evolved?
Yes, she has mentioned something that, science is actually evolving. Okay, so it is science that is actually informing what's actually happening in terms of the clinical practice. So new drugs are coming on board. So we have seen that some drugs that we use maybe in the last 10 to 20 years, they are no more on the shelter because they have actually gotten more potent. There is evolution now, or let me say, there's a lot of science that is also evolving.